warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because with that we can meet this presentation assignment. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Syafna Ardini and I'm from 8.5. Today, I would like to present my project that has the title Implementation of Frugal Living as an Effort to Realize Sustainable Lifestyle. But before we discuss about the connection between my title and the subject, we should know what is the background that happened in this study. Because of that, the background is, in the current era of globalization, many teenagers cannot control themselves to limit what they want. One of the examples is fear of missing out, or we can just know it as a FOMO. FOMO is an event where people doesn't want to left behind or not knowing about the information, situation, or condition that happen. Many teenagers follow this habit, so they are willing to follow some information or trend. So they are willing to follow some information or trend, or they buying something that not too important or necessarily by themselves. And it is they done just because they see the other people having or doing this. It is usually start in the social media, which can be spread in everywhere. And the next problem is, because we are live in the modern development, it's make us more easier to get or buy what we want. In the other word, we have been a consumptive people. It is a behavior where people of individuals want to spend their money without thinking carefully about the future. So these two behaviors shows if there is any waste of something. It is not accordance with the concept of frugal living, because in frugal living we are taught to live simple and frugally. With that, we should to limit our sense pride of something, so we are not being easily to get influenced, extravagant, or arrogance for a better life. And the problem formulation is, how do you implement frugal living as an effort to realize sustainable lifestyle? And the research objective, to find out a way to implement frugal living as an effort to realize sustainable lifestyle. And here is the research design. Okay, so now let's move to the discussion. The first is social. In social, I take the material about the priority scale. In priority scale, it means if we should to make a list that based on our necessity, it is start from the primary needs, secondary needs, until the tertiary needs. A priority scale can be used one of the way to manage our spending become more efficient, because it is based on our needs, right? And it is also accordant with the concept of frugal living that teach us to live simple and frugally. With we implement priority scale, it is also avoid us from waste our money that from something that useless for us. And the second is math. In math, I take the material about the probability. Then what is the relation between the probability with frugal living or sustainable lifestyle? Which we have tried to implement frugal living as our lifestyle to reach sustainable lifestyle. The probability of us to can achieving prosperous and sufficient life is greater than we implement the other lifestyle that not give benefit for us. For the example, the lifestyle that still like to eat junk food, the lifestyle that doesn't like to having exercise, or the lifestyle that still like to consume alcohol and cigarette. So, the conclusion is, by implementing a frugal living, we can implement a sustainable lifestyle. Because through frugal living implement, we can get a benefit from them. It will give benefit in this era or in the future. But while if we are not implementing frugal living, it will cause a negative impact for ourselves. One of them is in the financial condition. Our financial condition can become more worsened because the expenses are out of the control.
Ina.
Ina.
Okay. Okay, Syafna, I just have some question for you based on your research. In here, you talk about the frugal living, as an effort to realize a sustainable lifestyle. So, Nowadays, when we talk about the frugal living, there are so many factors that are support about not frugal living life. For example, online shop.
Yes.
Yes. And then there is the importing from other country. We know that right now there are a big case about between US and also China that are two trade of war that is make each country fight to sell something to other country. For example, Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the country that is consuming people inside. So what should we do to avoid non-frugal living based on this case as a student?
Okay. As a student, we can start implement frugal living by little things. The first, we can bring tumbler or meal pack from the home. It is can help to reduce the expenses of us to buying the food and drinks from the school. It is not mean if it's totally not buying the food or the drinks, but we are reduce the expenses.
Okay, so now for the second question. Okay, why you like to prefer to some probability with inanimate material than others like 3D or arithmetic?
Because I think in the other material I don't get a strong relation between the title with that material. So I think the probability is more makes sense from the other material.
Do you have a suggestion for the teenager or the next generation how to create the frugal living in an environment near them?
We can implement frugal living such as a various way. The first, we can list our needs. It's just same like a priority scale. And the second is we can saving our money in the bank. When we get an income, we should to take a part of them and saving in the bank. With that, it will be hard to get, and we can just use it when in the emergency condition. Or we also should to maintain the balance between the expenses and also the income. Our expenses, it should not more than our income, because when our is more than our income, it will be hard for fill our expenses.
Yeah, when you say the teenager or the student should be saving, how about the teenager or the student, which is they are like to or still enjoy with their online game, which is they must be prepared about the money to buy or top up their quote or anything that can support their game online still exist. So what should we do?
It's actually a basic their needs, because they are in the teenager era where they like to explore what they want. So I think it is okay, but if it's over the limit, it should be stopped.
Okay. Do you agree when I said that when somebody or teenager is get influence from online game is implemented non-frugal living?
Sometimes I agree, because they are not reflect a frugal living that a concept frugal living that teach live simple and frugally, because sometimes they spend a lot of money to for their happiness, such as online shopping or online game.
Okay, thank you. Enough. Can closing.
Okay, then I think that's all from me. Thank you for your nice attention. I'm sorry if there is any wrong pronunciation or the word that not pleasing to the heart. And last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.